Hey, what's up? It's Laidback Luke, and I have something very special for you right now. To celebrate the release of my new track, together with Yves and Hawkboy, called To The Beat, I have a very special inside tutorial for you on how the track was made. And welcome back in my humble little home studio right here. We're just gonna dive straight into it. So over here I have the full track laid out. There's a lot of stems involved, and the stems of a track is like a bounce of every separate channel you used in the track. So it doesn't matter if you're on FL Studio, Logic, Ableton. This collaboration started with a little sketch Yves sent me of his new track. Yves sent me a trumpet in the breakdown, which was very cool, but I thought maybe it can be a little bit more catchy. Obviously very catchy, but it just needed a little bit more variation to really give it that edge. A lot of times when I hear melodies in EDM songs, it misses that edge. It just focuses a little bit too much on the chanting along. What I was always intrigued about with the melodies Dimitri Vegas and Mike used to make, so for instance Ocarina, it had quite a big structure, but still easy to hum along. So this was my intention with the new horn melody as well. So I just did a couple of cuts in there. Then it went from being this to this. Still that simpleness, but just a little bit more depth. So in the original version of Yves, the drop only had a beat. Obviously the drum programming is awesome, but it misses something in the drop. I figured with these kind of drums, we're just gonna bring it back to 2008, back to Congo Rock, Babylon meets Hardwell, Spaceman. With such a good melody in the breakdown now, I wanted to have that in a drop as well, but just with a big bassy sound. Since I was very much obsessed, and still am, with the FM8, I went on to layer some bass sounds. Let me see, where's my bass? So funny because I keep everything gray. It just looks nicer, but I will always be searching for my channels and tracks. And I dove into my FM8, browsed through a bunch of presets, which isn't a crime, but then I dove into the matrix and added some more. So this funky bleep preset is a really cool preset, and it's close, but I just added a lot of distortion in there. In the matrix, when you add these numbers on top of the engines, then it will add distortion. This is something you can't do with putting distortion or saturation on a regular synth sound. In the bassline, I changed the phase of the signal. Changing the phase of a signal means the waveform goes from looking like this to looking like this. Exactly the other way around. And this way, you can make it fit better if it's wrestling with another signal that goes this way. The bassline sounds like it already has sidechain, but it just has to do with the envelope I changed, so there's a less attack in it. So that's cool if you can dive into the matrix like that. Some extra saturation, but look here, the dry wet. So there's not a lot of saturation going on, it's just details. What I like about all the Vengeance plugins is that they are really easy to use, straight to the point, nothing really professor type of stuff going on. You should try looking into this, because this is a stereo widener that's pretty much safe to put on everything. So it'll widen your signal up, but not damage it. It could be really safe. I put an EQ on mid-side mode here as well, and then just made sure I cut it under the 160 Hertz. This means all the signal of the bass line under 160 Hertz will be mono. As if this is not enough, I mean, it sounds good already, right? I layered the bass with some extra crunch and some extra exciting signals on the high ends with Spire with the preset Monster 1. So this sounds like this. Layered together, they sound like this. And those kind of things give your sounds depth, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting for the ear. This is the Vengeance multi-band sidechain, which I really love at the moment. So what this does is it sidechains, but it sidechains EQ. So you hear the sidechaining signal going on, but literally it's taking like the low end of the signal and EQing out the low end while the kick drum comes in. Usually the juiciest part of what you can hear of a bass line sits in the 44 Hertz. Anything that's lower, you can just like cut out. And again, I have lost my way in my track because everything is gray. Claps. Okay, here we go. Claps. So with the claps, I did something quite special. I once recommended the Euro this tip. What I did is rerouted this clap group into a clap out channel, because I have this separate clappy thing that I didn't want to touch, and so this goes into the clap out, this goes into the clap out, and this channel I just put on in. So it means these two merge in here, but this one isn't being affected by all the EQs and stuff and distortion I have going on here. Funny little trick. Let's talk about the structure of the track. So in a lot of EDM tracks you hear a 16 bar intro. I did that too. Starts like this. So there's a riser in the effects. So it rises up into the second 8 bars of the track. Here we add the kick drum. Yeah, because this is a light kick drum. Add the kick drum, more effects, more rising, up to. So this flute sound is one of my favorite synths forever. The Korg M1. This is where the Robin S. Show Me Love bass line lives. Cool and cold in the woodwind section. A lot of nice flutes going on in there. So add the horn, add some claps. I personally really love is the daft type of sound I have in there, and it all comes from the massive synth, just a preset called Chainsaw, but it sounds really daft punky. Oh. So before the drop, usually we have about 8 bars of climax going on. Climaxes can vary. You can have the one note going beep, 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 and then add some snares and risers. You've noticed that I've been working with Hawkboy. He's an MC from Las Vegas, and he was on my previous track as well with Afrojack, Move to the Sound. And the reason I got these vocals is because Shelko Garcia is his boy, and they often record sample packs of his vocals. They just put it out. It's House Party Recordings, Hawkboy vocals, something like that. Check it out. So we still have Yves snares on there. Ooh, I want to talk to you about this erosion little synth here. I started working with this thanks to a collab I did with Abstract. Erosion is a kind of like a saturator. Gives it a little bit of like a harmonic distortion. So that just makes it a little bit more crunchy. And these snares are huge, so I needed to put some multi-band. I keep on doing that. I guess I just gotta update my stuff. So on here as well, I put some multi-band sidechain on there to make it fit, but still keep it clunky. This one, the EQ on the mid-side setting as well. So this is a really cool effects I grabbed from Yves. I just put some interesting auto pan on there to make it bounce from left to right a little bit. So I added a little bit of a trancey thing there. Reminded me a little bit of Sander Van Doorn's older work. I just wanted that in there somehow. So I'm about to wrap it up for this inside tutorial, but I just want to talk to you about mastering. So for this track, because it has that old school feel, I referenced it with some older tracks in the same type of genre. So back in the day, this must have been what, 2009? I made this edit of Congo Rock Ivory, which had this very heavy low end, kind of like a similar feel. So mind you, this signal goes directly out to my master. On my master channel, I don't have anything. All the channels I have in my tracks right here, I have rerouted it to my pre-master track, where my master chain lives. This signal goes out to the master as well. So now I can compare the both. And so if I hear any difference, I'll just put some EQs on here and just tweak it until it's the same loudness and feels overall the same in all the frequencies. So I compared it to Mike Cervello and Sesco Smack as well. So happy these boys brought the old school Dutch sound back into 2016. And so you just go back and forth like that until your track sounds similar. If you want to see me go more in depth about mastering, I did a tutorial on that. Just search Laidback Luke mastering tutorial and you will find it. So after all this, I sent my track back to Yves. I think they replaced or retweaked the kick drum and they made the overall mastering sound a little bit louder and a little bit fresher. Now, I don't really have a clue how they did it because I thought I was at the maximum right here. So if you have a question about that, contact Yves. And this wraps up the tutorial of how I made To The Beat with Yves V and Hawkboy. It's out right now, so go ahead and go onto my Twitter. It's @LaidbackLuke and let me know what you think. For any of your producer and DJ questions, those I answer on the Twitter as well, so just hit me up. Make sure to press that little thumb up thingy and subscribe to my channel. I have a new vlog out every single week and I will be very happy to do more tutorials for you. Laidback Luke signing off. L's up, rave safely, and salute.